Greetings, friends! This is now becoming part of my morning ritual. Some time grounding, some time in prayer, and now some time playing the shofar. I am trying to make some progress with it. Hopefully it shows. I know I still got my work cut out for me, but hey, I feel like I'm making progress. I don't know. Let me know in the comment section below. And I'm experimenting now, trying to make different sounds with it, just to have a little bit of fun as I'm practicing. So it's been quite the enjoyable experience having this. Well, it's a little chilly this morning. I have a fire going, and it is supposed to be even cooler tomorrow morning. In fact, we're actually supposed to have some frost. And as long as I've been gardening and homesteading, especially here on this property, I don't recall a frost being this late. So we have a number of plants out, like our cucumbers, our tomatoes, our squash, our peppers, that are really susceptible, can be really susceptible to frost damage, and we don't want to lose any of those plants if we can help it. So we got our work cut out for us today. So I don't have an official area for my shofar, so right now I'm just keeping it in the carrying bag that it came in, and it's really handy to carry it around, as well as the box that it came in. But what I'm ultimately thinking is setting up a rack for it above the TV or beside the TV, probably beside the TV, but also need to paint this wall first and finish this project. But at this time of year, our energies and our focus are not on inside projects, but things that are going on outside, because this is preparation for the main growing season to set you up for the rest of the year. If we don't do what we need to do now, then we'll be lacking in produce for the rest of the year outside. Well, everyone else is outside on chores, and looks like I need to get out there as well. But earlier I talked about morning routine. One of the things that we have recently established as part of our morning routine together, we do a family meeting, kind of go over what needs to be done for today, as well as we start the meeting off with just singing a hymn. So I talked about my morning routine. What is something that you guys do as a regular part of your morning routine? Some things, you can mention a number of them in the comment section below. I'd love to hear what you do and why you find that it's important, because I found having a routine is very, very important, especially a good one. Well, I better get outside. With the colder temperatures in mind that I just mentioned, we're gonna have to close up our greenhouse to protect our tomatoes that are growing in here. But right now, we're gonna close to 65, 70 degrees for the high today, so I'm not going to close it up quite yet. Still let some airflow come in, and then a little bit later we'll close everything up. But the tomatoes are growing very well in here. No flowers on them quite yet, but I think they're getting really, really close to having some flowers on there. And our strawberries are doing absolutely wonderful. And another reason why I don't want to close it up quite yet is because of our lettuce growing in here. I don't want those getting too hot and getting bitter. So we're just gonna hold off on that. Right now, we got some chicks that we need to feed and get some water to as part of my morning chores. Hey man. Feeding the cats this morning?
Yep.
Got somebody ready already. Is that Joey or Slim?
Joey?
Yep, that's Joey the cat. How many cats do we have, you remember? Forgot? 3, right? I guess he's not quite warmed up from the camera quite yet, are you, buddy? Well, we have our chicks here, and they are growing. They just grow up so fast. And I think they're right at 3 weeks old right now, and a number of them have developed really good feathers on them. So it's pretty neat to see how they're looking. So they're in here staying warm, should be warm. And actually, I was planning to move them out this week. It didn't happen. but I plan to move them outside next week. But with the feathers on them, they should be totally warm, especially in here now with the brooder and the heat lamp. They're cozy and comfortable. So now let's just make sure they have the water that they need and food, because these guys eat fast. Most of them in here are broilers. We have Cornish crosses, we have big red, ginger broiler, black Jersey giant, and then we have a couple of breeder birds that we'll be keeping for after we process these other ones. But we strive to give them a good life while they're here. So the feed is looking pretty good. So I think this one right here, let's see if we can get it. Whoop. This one right here is probably one of the ginger ones. So it's growing fairly well. And then let's see it in comparison to, come on now. Whoop, I got you. To one of the Cornish crosses. So they're doing well. Actually, they look really good on water. Water's up there. So I'm just going to top off their feed. Should be good to go. Oh, getting a little low on our starter feed here. And this is about the time that I also switch them over to broiler feed. Usually right at the 3 to 4 week mark is when I switch them over. And also, I give them some more pine shavings to keep their area clean and healthy for them. I really am a big fan of the fine shavings, just because all this fine material goes into the compost so much easier than the bigger flakes. It's a little bit harder for the flakes to go in there. And then I notice as it gets integrated into the compost, it really helps to create more air in your soil, which is really good because it's like it adds, like this organic matter just really makes it fluffier soil. So give them some. And it's snowing on you. Don't want to start on too much. So after our chicks and ducklings graduate from the brooder there, next we'll move them out here to a chicken tractor, kind of like this one right here. And the broilers will live most of their life, well pretty much all their life, from the brooder forward in a chicken tractor. And day by day we'll move them on to fresh grass in this mobile chicken tractor here. And it gives them the opportunity to eat all this fresh green grass, to be outside in the sun, as well as to be able to eat bugs. And I constructed a door right at the front of it, so at times I'll also set up electrified netting for them during the day to kind of run out and play and have even more exercise to get as they're growing and developing here. And then we'll close them back up at night. Now for our layers, once they graduate from the brooder, they'll go into the chicken tractor temporarily, and then they'll be in a chick shawl within electrified netting, and that's how they'll live their lives. And then for our breeders, which can be for the broilers as well as the layers, they'll come here back to the chicken tractor, but instead of it being like for a broiler, it will be like a mobile love motel. So we'll put them in there to work on the different breeds that we're trying to multiply and increase here. And we'll put a male in there with a few females, and we'll get our hatching eggs. And those will be our breeder shack here. So I guess they are into polygamy, but we'll continue the breeds that we're trying to work on. And in this hotel room, we have our Muscovies here. So I'm gonna gather their eggs, which should be fertilized, and then we're gonna move them. I also want to mention, because some people get the wrong idea when they see my video, No Messy Ducks, that we just always raise our ducks in chicken tractors, and that's not true. And I know you long-time viewers know that we give our ducks access to the pond. We move them all around. They are able to swim and have an enjoyable life for the most part. So I do want to mention that. Well, I can see that the wind is kicking up, and I have noticed that whenever there's big changes in temperature, that it's going to be pretty much windy right before that change happens. And as you can see, maybe here, there's the wind. Well, got a number of things to do around here, and then we're going to get back to securing things before we get the frost. So that's what's next. So after doing a number of work projects around the homestead, the temperatures began to drop pretty quickly, and we had to switch gears and get back to preparing for the frost. The kids helped me bring plant starts inside to protect them from the cold. Turn that off so I don't burn it. Yeah, it should be fine for night. I rolled down the sides of our greenhouse. As well as watered all the plants inside the greenhouse thoroughly. After that, I closed the greenhouse up, shut it up, so that way we didn't have to worry about any airflow in there. And as I was doing this, Lacie was working on covering up a number of her transplants with mason jars to protect them. And she also watered all the tomatoes and cucumbers in our high tunnel. And some of you may be wondering, why in the world would you water your plants before the cold temperatures come, the frost and the freezing temperatures? Well, that's very important because, especially for thoroughly watering the ground around your plants, the ground that your plants are in, because moist ground is a lot warmer than drier ground. Believe that or not. And also, watering that ground helps to insulate the root system of the plants, thus helping it to stay warmer and more protected from decreasing temperatures. And you can also water the foliage of your plants, because plants that have water in their plant cells makes them more plump, which helps them to be stronger against cold damage. And there's some more complicated physics involved with that, like the latent heat fusion of water, STP, and all that. You can look at that up. That's more complicated for me to explain than I'm able to, so that's something you guys can look up and check out. So I recommend you checking that out if you really want a more complicated, in-depth understanding of how that works. But anyways, we've watered our plants in the past when we've dealt with frost, and it has worked well and has saved them from being damaged by the frost. So that's what we did again. Well, then night came, and I must admit, I had this feeling in my gut that I don't know about tonight. So to be honest with you, starting at about 12 a.m. onward, I was waking up every hour just watching the temperature and how it was tracking and the trajectory of things, and I was like, I'm not feeling good about this. This looks like it's going to be a little bit more than a frost. So 12 a.m. check the temperature. 1 a.m. woke up, check the temperature. Back to sleep. Woke up again. 2 a.m. check the temperature. Went back to sleep. 3 a.m. woke up, checked the temperature. I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to have to get up and start doing something, because it looks like it's going to be colder than we are ready for. So if it's just a frost, what we did would be fine, but I think we need to get outside and do some more. So I got up about 3:30, went outside, and we did have to do more. What a night this has been. The forecast started off with, oh, it's just going to be cold temperatures for the next 2 days and you won't hit frost, to, oh no, we're going to get frost, to, as we were out here this morning, to, nope, you're going to have freezing temperatures which could kill your crops. So it's like, oh, we were not prepared for this. I did not think that we were going to happen this late, close to May. We're right, almost like right there at May, and then we're getting freezing temperatures here, which is very, very abnormal for us. And I actually saw this morning as I'm out here checking the temperatures and everything that we have broken records for our low temperatures. So didn't see this coming. Bummer. It's because I was thinking with just the frost, I could just keep things just watered off, keep the plants warm. But now when they get to the temperatures gets to be about 30 degrees, 29 degrees, and things start freezing. And that is what we were noticing was happening as we were out here. It looks like we were doing some kind of ritual with having the fire burning on both sides of our high tunnel here. But it was working for a little bit, and then I was like, oh man, I don't think this is working now. So we ended up having to rush around, find the plastic and hoops in the dark, and start setting up in here. And then on the other end, I have the heater, one of our indoor heaters, pumping heat into this low tunnel here with the plastic. So it's keeping it warm. Actually felt really cozy in there. I actually wanted to lay down in there and just take a nap and say, I'm done. This is not fun. But Lacie here has been shoveling some hot coals from the fire into this tunnel right here. But how are you feeling about things?
We'll see how it all turns out. You know, a couple years ago, we had a late freeze, but that was like April 14th, and this is the 22nd. So this is a whole week later, and this has been probably like a hard freeze, not just a frost. So
yeah.
Those squash actually came back. We thought they were dead a couple years ago, so we'll just see what comes back after this.
So we were praying for those plants, and hopefully praying for tomatoes and cucumbers to be fine as well. Because we've put a lot of work in here, and a number of other things that we could have been doing in the garden we put on delay just because we wanted our energies to be focused on making this area really, really productive. And besides, we have some heirloom varieties of tomatoes growing in here that I want to save. I don't want to lose these, but if we do have other ones in the main greenhouse, and I actually haven't checked on them yet, so hopefully everything is fine in there. Man, what a night that was. Really got up about 3 and then didn't get back inside till about 8 or so, and then crashed and took a nap. But while we were out there just trying to keep the fire going and trying to quickly set up the plastic, before we set up the plastic we were just constantly spraying, because at a light frost you can just spray and you're pretty much you're okay for a little bit of time. But with it being the light freezing temperatures that it was, we just had to continue to apply the water, constantly watering to make sure that the leaves stayed wet and didn't freeze up. So man, what a night. So after taking my nap, I went back out there, set up some more hoops, got our plastic really secure because we're having some more freezing temperatures again tonight. So man, this is pretty interesting. This just doesn't normally happen. So I think I won't do it like this again. It does help, and it's helped in the past of watering, but that was a lot of work. So I think it would save a lot more time just to bust out the plastic. I was thinking I would save myself some time and energy with just spraying things down and not having to worry about bringing out the plastic, but I end up having to do both. Water, set up a heater, make little fires, and then still have to use the plastic on top of all the watering that we were doing. So man, what a time this was. We still have one more night of freezing temperatures tonight, and then I look forward to getting back to the way it's supposed to be, and hopefully won't have any more of that until fall. But man, I think I could go use another nap after the night we just had. So hopefully everything will be fine tonight and then tomorrow morning, and then we can get back to doing all the other stuff we need to do outside. Well, I'm gonna hit it. See you guys next time.